All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about the lightweight division, specifically Gervonta Tank Davis and what Rolly Romero had to say about him trying to pull out of their fight. Let's talk about that in this video. This video is brought to you by Boxing Showtimes, a new professional boxing schedule in your pocket. It helps you to keep updated on boxing events and details. Also assists you when you want to find bars near you to watch fights, and allows you to set reminders for upcoming fights. Download the Boxing Showtimes for your smartphone and your tablet. Thank you again to our newest sponsors, Boxing Showtimes. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. We're going to talk about the lightweight division in this particular video, and Rolly Romero giving his explanation for why Gervonta Tank Davis has been saying the same things that he is. And in short, he believes that Gervonta Tank Davis is probably trying to get out of the fight with him and pull out. Before we get into that, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are not a subscriber to the channel, welcome back. If you are a subscriber, welcome back. If you're not, please accept my invitation to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you can be notified of when we release more videos. All right, so as we know, Gervonta Tank Davis said some things around about Mayweather Promotions and what the situation is with his contract on Twitter this weekend. Big on this week, Thursday and Friday. I think it was over 2 days. Might have just been on Friday, but a big to do about it. And basically what he said was that he has one fight left on his contract, and that's why Mayweather Promotions are so desperate to get him to fight this guy, talking about Rolly Romero, right? It is clear that Gervonta Davis is not excited about fighting Rolly Romero, but Rolly Romero is most definitely a mandatory for that WBA regular belt. So pretty much he didn't have a choice in the matter. I won't say for sure that I believe that, the WBA just coincidentally ordered that fight. The way that the sanctioning bodies work sometimes is that people can request them to order a fight or make a fight, right? And a lot of times that is the promoter of the fighter that is getting mandated for the fight, right? They push for it. Eddie Hearn for a long time pushed for Dillian White to get a mandatory fight against Deontay Wilder, and also I do believe they also pushed to get the mandatory ordered for Dillian White against Tyson Fury. So, you see those things. And I would not rule out that Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Mayweather Promotions were really pushing for the Gervonta Davis versus Rolly Romero fight, because it is what Floyd Mayweather Jr. said that he was going to be trying to do, which is have in-house fights for his fighters. Said that in the media, very clear about it. And what do you get? You get Rolly Romero ordered to Gervonta Davis ordered to fight a Mayweather Promotion fighter in Rolly Romero. And I'm not the biggest fan of coincidence in the world. Number one, I don't think Rolly Romero's done enough to be a mandatory for anything. The dude, I think, lost to Marinez, but just is not that super top level of fighter. And I doubt very much that he would be in that rankings that high if it wasn't for the influence of a influential promoter like Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Mayweather Promotions. Now, as far as Gervonta Davis pulling out of the fight because he's scared of fighting Rolly Romero, I think that is more than a little bit of a stretch. I don't see Gervonta Davis being intimidated or worried about a fight with Rolly Romero. Rolly Romero is nothing that you would see looking at him in the ring from a traditional standpoint would really make you feel, too much worried about the guy, right? He's not, he doesn't have particularly fast hands. He's not a very technically skilled fighter, or let me say he's not a very orthodox style of fighter. He throws wide punches. He's there to be hit by Gervonta Davis, and if that Marinez fight shows anything, Gervonta Davis Davis, if he wanted to, could just stay on the back foot with Rolly Romero, and beat Rolly Romero that way. So, number one, I doubt what Rolly Romero says about him trying to pull out the fight. I doubt if that is really true. Gervonta is more than likely just going to take that fight, beat Rolly Romero, and keep it pushing. But one thing that I will say about Rolly Romero in the interview, because he gave this interview and said this on Fight Hype, he is an entertaining guy, man. And honestly, before I was very dismissive of Rolly, I'm not so dismissive of the guy anymore, man. First of all, he went through a really messed up situation where he had the opportunity to fight Gervonta Davis taken away from him, right, and got replaced by Isaac Cruz. And that's just really, really unfortunate for the dude because, like he said in this interview, he's invested a lot of money in the sport of boxing. He said he's not made that much money in the sport of boxing. So to take that real big payday away from him, I thought was unfair. And also, man, he's just a guy that is really good. He's got the gift of gab, man, and he's willing to run his mouth and sell a fight, and that makes the fight interesting. Actually, in the last fight, before the fight was canceled because of the out of the ring drama around Rolly Romero, I was like, man, I'm really starting to get into this fight, man. I'm actually starting to look forward to this because of what Rolly Romero was doing, trying to sell the fight, man. And that's a real big benefit, man. And like, if more fighters that were able to do that and actually like really had the skill sets to back it up, those guys will go a lot further in their career, man. And they typically do when you can combine those two things. Like, for example, Floyd Mayweather Jr. had that ability, man, to really sell the fight, sell himself, and he had the ability to back that up in the ring, and it really did. It really resulted in a lot of fights that were more interesting, for boxing fans in ways that did not just include what was actually happening in the ring. All of the stuff around the fight was exciting as well. And I think Rolly Romero was bringing that. Muhammad Ali was somebody else that did that, brought a lot of excitement to the fight for the conversations that took place around the fight. So, Rolly Romero is a bit of a he's a valuable fighter for that reason, similar to like Ricardo Mayorga, right? Now, Ricardo Mayorga, if you're not familiar with him, was a welterweight in the early 2000s, late 90s. Fought guys like Shane Mosley, fought Vernon Forrest. A little bit later on in his career, he fought Shane Mosley, and he fought Felix Trinidad, but he would always just really, really sell the fight, and with doing things like smoking cigarettes, talking a lot of junk, right? And it just really did bring up, and when he's very entertaining in the ring, kind of wild and just a really big puncher, similar to Rolly Romero. I think Ricardo Mayorga very similar. I don't necessarily know even if Ricardo Mayorga was much more skilled than Rolly Romero, right? But he could really punch. He would take shots. He was definitely a guy that was like take one, take three to give one type of guy. And if Rolly Romero is going to beat Gervonta Tank Davis, he's going to have to show that side of himself, and he's going to have to be able to take Gervonta Davis's shots. Several Gervonta Davis's shots in order to get one of his off in order to win that fight. I don't think Gervonta Davis, however, would be very worried about that, and I doubt what this guy's saying about him trying to get out of the fight is true. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section, and with that, I'm out. Peace.